The following program contains explicit scenes of protests. If you suffer from cyber paralysis, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your favorite blog.
In the name of liberty, they've stripped away your dignity. Your death shows how far we've gone. Where will it stop before they're done? And we're dying with you, baby. Every time that you die, a part of us dies too. We're dying with you, baby.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Will Senator Rand Paul run for president? I hope so. Wouldn't it just be a blast to have him tormenting the bad guys on all sides of the political spectrum? Today we're going to finish up with a three-part series on abortionist Gosnell and how you and I can bring an end to this horrific curse in our nation. But first, a word of wisdom from the professor. The second law of thermodynamics is exactly like the Second Amendment. No, you nitwit. Entropy has nothing to do with the right to keep and bear arms. What I mean is that they're both laws. The right to defend yourself is a natural law, and entropy is a universal law. Think. Welcome to the program, friend. We are in our third part on a special series regarding the murder trial of child killer Kermit Gosnell in Philadelphia, where he is standing trial for 8 counts of murder. One mother who died along with her baby under his horrific care of a safe legal abortion, and 7 babies who he killed after they survived his attempt on their lives. In case you have not seen these shows, I want to again encourage you to have any small children in the room leave the room, because we are going to show some very troubling images. If you have just joined us and did not see the first and second part of this series, go to our website, voiceofresistance.com, voiceofresistance.com, and you can see the episodes and learn more on how we are to bring this killing to an end. All right. Kermit Gosnell killed viable babies. That means a baby that can live outside of the womb after they were born alive, even though he had induced certain drugs to kill them. He took scissors and plunged them into the back of their necks and snipped their spinal cords. His staff testified that he had done this hundreds of times. What you need to understand is that this is happening every day in America. That's number one. And number two, ethically, there is no difference if he stuck the scissors in their neck after they were born, or if he simply reached into the mother's womb and ripped the child apart piecemeal at 24 weeks, or at 12 weeks, or at 10 weeks. Because at the core of this is whether or not this is murder. Now, we closed yesterday's program talking about how God must be in the equation. If we submit to a godless argument, we lose. Because after all, if we're just animals, we're not the special, unique creation of God, made in His image, duty-bound to obey the Ten Commandments. If we are none of these things, then we're animals, and the first law of the animal kingdom is survival of the fittest. And why not kill our young? Well, I want to pick up where I left off, talking about sin and the law. There are people who are Christians who say that they believe that abortion is murder, but that we should not make it a crime to murder these babies, that a woman should have the choice. Take that line of logic and use it in Nazi Germany. Yes, the Jews are human beings, and yes, it's a sin that the Nazis are killing them, but the law is the law, and the Nazis have the choice to kill these Jews. They're simply exercising their choice. Obviously, it's a ludicrous argument. So is the argument that babies being murdered should not have the protection of law. The reason it's so critical that we understand that God must be in the argument and that we're talking about sin and the law is because there are times when they all mesh. All right? In other words, does a policeman have the duty to discipline my 8-year-old when he disobeys? No. Does the state have the authority to tell me to baptize my children? No. These are moments when the government would be usurping authority. But the imposition of criminal sanctions on certain behavior is a part of the duty of government. Our Declaration of Independence echoes a Christian theme, one that has been promoted by every doctor of the church worth his or her salt, namely, that governments exist to protect life and liberty and property. That's why we have laws. Laws against murder, laws against theft, laws against slavery, protection of life, liberty, and property. Some sins are not criminal acts. Laziness is a sin, but it's not a crime. All crimes, as revealed to us by God, all crimes are sins as well. And so in the case of murder, we must always remember it is a sin, but there must be a law against it. So from conception until birth, the law must be employed to protect these innocent human beings, our brothers and sisters, from the murderer's knife. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about why America is in danger. Okay? There's a reason why things are going so badly for us. And I can tell you that Kermit Gosnell is a part of the problem, and so are the hundreds of churches in Philadelphia that let him get away with murder.
Hello, Cleveland! Yeah! What? You can't turn the channel. You need to watch more Randall Terry. Yeah!
Do you want to have knowledge, wisdom, discernment? If so, you have to read good books on theology, history, books that look at the lives of great men and women. So to help you to become a more effective Christian, a better witness for truth, somebody who can engage in productive conversation that exhorts and edifies those that you speak with, we're going to do something crazy. We're offering you these 7 books for a gift of any size. You just pay for the shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift that you can, and we will send them to you. But just to make it a little bit more crazy, I will send you a second copy of my 3 books, autographed. You can give them as a gift to your pastor or to a family member and help extend truth and justice in the world. This is while supplies last.
Moments with Moses. And for those of you that are left, I will send faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies, The sound of a driven leaf shall put them to flight, and they shall flee as one flees from the sword, and they shall fall when none pursues.
Welcome back to the program, friend. I again want to encourage you, if you have small children in the room, to encourage them to go to another area of the house. We're going to talk about some very disturbing things and show some disturbing images because we are duty-bound to do so. And I again thank the Walk TV, our network, and all of the affiliates that have the courage and the love of truth and the love of innocent human life that they will show these images, and they are unlike their counterparts at ABC, NBC, and CBS, who are collaborators with the child killers by refusing to show the truth. America is in great danger. The reason is this: there is a God in heaven, and he has issued specific commands regarding the slaying of innocent children. And because God hears blood. He said to Cain, the voice of your brother's blood cries out. I want to read to you a couple of Bible passages so that you can see the reason why America is in danger. Stay with me, and you'll understand why our number one social and political duty is to bring an end to this killing. And it's not only for the sake of the babies, that is the primary reason, but it's also for our own sake. Listen to Leviticus chapter 20. Any man of the people of Israel or the strangers that sojourn in Israel who gives any of his offspring to Molech shall be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. This is regarding child sacrifice. They would take a newborn infant and they would heat this horrific demonic image, and it had a big brazen basin with its outstretched arms. Some people say it was half bull, half man. And they would get it white hot, and then they would put the child into the basin and cook it, make it pass through the fire. It was demonic. God said, if anyone does this, he shall be put to death. The people shall stone him with stones. I myself will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given one of his children to Molech, defiling my sanctuary and profaning my holy name. Child killing profanes the name of God himself, because these babies are made in the image of God. And Jesus said, what you do to one of the least of these, my brethren, you do to me. He said, allow the little children to come to me, because to such belongs the kingdom of heaven. An assault on children is an assault on Christ himself. Then God said, and if the people of the land do at all hide their eyes from that man, when he gives one of his children to Molech, and do not put him to death, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut them off from among their people, him, and all who follow him in playing the harlot after Molech. God says, look, if you let people get away with killing children, you're playing the harlot with them. If you turn your eyes and look the other way, God says, I'll deal with him, and then I'm going to deal with you. In the book of Isaiah, all right, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to show you why God is so distressed with his people, with his church in America. God says, I'm not even going to listen to your prayers. What? Because your hands are covered with blood. Don't go away. Every day in America, over 3,500 babies are torn apart by abortion. Shouldn't all babies, like this living, unborn child, have the right to life? Baby killing will only end when Americans see the truth of what abortion does to innocent children. You can help end this Holocaust by showing the truth of abortion in your area with a Face the Truth tour. Go to facethetruthamerica.com to set up a Face the Truth tour in your area. The babies and their mothers will be eternally grateful. In the 1980s, banks introduced designer checks. When my buddy George Johnson inquired at the bank, they had nothing for pro-lifers. So the Johnsons created beautiful pro-life bank checks showing babies with a strong pro-life message. You can speak out for life with every check you write, whether personal or business checks. Be a voice for babies with these pro-life checks. Go to prolifecheckguy.com to see more. That's prolifecheckguy.com. Truth and justice come from God. There are moral absolutes. This is always evil. This is always good. We didn't make the rules. We can break them, but not with impunity. There is a price to pay. And it's not only the sins of commission, the things that we do that are bad, it's when we fail to do what is right. In the last segment, I told you about the people who allowed a man to offer his children to Molech. And God says, if you let him get away with this, I'm going to deal with him, but I'm going to deal with you. In Deuteronomy chapter 21, we see this passage when the people found a murdered victim and they didn't know who did it. In order to avoid the judgment of God, they had to be able to pray this prayer. They shall testify, our hands did not shed this blood, neither did our eyes see it shed. Lord, we did not kill this man. The elders had to gather around the body and kill a heifer. And then say, Lord, our hands did not shed this blood, neither did our eyes see it. Do not impute the guilt of innocent blood to your people in the midst of thy people Israel. In Isaiah chapter 1, listen to these words. Now remember, Isaiah is prophesying to the Jewish people. God instituted certain feasts, certain festivals, certain requirements for incense. And listen what God says. Bring no more vain offerings. Incense is an abomination to me. New moon and Sabbath and the calling of assemblies. I cannot endure iniquity and solemn assembly. Wait a minute, God, you're the one who told us to do these solemn assemblies. What are you saying you hate them for? When you spread forth your hands in prayer, when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood. Wash yourselves, make yourselves clean. Remove the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do good. Seek justice. Correct oppression. Defend the fatherless. Plead for the widow. You see, the sins that they were committing were the sins of omission. Clearly, the Lord told them to do the new moon festivals, to offer the incense, but he said, I can't bear it when you're doing the religious activities that I have ordered you to do, but you're not defending the fatherless. It goes back to Deuteronomy 21. You have to be able to say, Lord, our hands did not shed this blood, neither did our eyes see it. We don't know who did it. It goes back to Leviticus chapter 20. Lord, that man is killing his babies, but I'm not. So I'm going to look the other way and not deal with him. No. God says, if you do that, your hands are covered with blood. And if you look in 2 Kings chapter 21, 2 Kings chapter 24, and Psalm 106, you see that the nation of Israel was judged. The northern 10 tribes were obliterated, and the Jews in Judea and in Jerusalem were taken captive to Babylon. And Solomon's temple was destroyed because God said, your hands are full of blood. You've let these people kill their babies. Most Jews weren't killing their babies. Think about it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel, the captives that went off to Babylon, they weren't killing their children, but they still went hungry and thirsty and naked as captives through the desert as they went to Babylon. It is our duty to protect babies from being murdered. But if we don't, then the Almighty sees and says, you have blood on your hands because you didn't do what I said to do to protect the innocent. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about trying abortionists and why a political solution in this battle is absolutely central. Yes, it's our duty to be involved in politics, and a political solution is in fact required. Don't go away. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today. How would you like to be able to reach hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of potential customers with your product or your company or your web-based business? Well, you can do that right here on this show. Every single day, we get phone calls or letters or orders online from states all over the country where people are watching this television show. Right now, we are seen in 45 cities at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time every night, and then a rerun again at 12:30 midnight. You can reach them using this show at advertising rates that are so inexpensive, it would blow your mind. So, if you're interested, contact us at the phone number that you see on the screen or the email address, and we can talk about how you can grow your business and help support this show. Welcome back, friend. As we finish up this special on Kermit Gosnell's murder trial, the child killer in Philadelphia, let me close with a couple of finishing points. Ending this Holocaust in America requires a political solution. It requires legislation. It requires laws that protect an innocent human being from conception until birth. Let's look at slavery or women's voting rights. When slavery was finally completely abolished legally in the South, there were slaveholders whose hearts were not changed. There are some well-meaning people in the pro-life movement who say that our goal, our mission, is to change hearts. No, it's not. Our goal is to change laws so that the full force of law protects babies. The reason that many people do not commit crimes is because they're afraid of the punishment that would follow the commission of that crime. These child killers someday must stand trial. Perhaps the principles of the Nuremberg proceedings could be used. In fact, there were people tried in Germany for abortion. Yes, for killing babies when it was legal in Germany. They were tried. Maybe they'll all be pardoned. Maybe they'll spend a little time in jail. The point is that these abortionists need to stand trial for what they've done. Not the mothers at this point, but I have to say this. If we're going to be linear and we're going to be consistent, when the day comes when child killing is made a criminal act again, mothers who are plotting to kill their child must also face some type of legal repercussion. I mean, the goal of this movement is not to put frightened pregnant moms in jail, but a culture that protects babies will also protect women. And most women are law-abiding citizens. And so once it is against the law to kill a baby again, the vast majority of women will obey the law. Just like the vast majority of Southern women who used to own slaves set their slaves free. We're a law-abiding people. The question is, what is the law? And this Holocaust will not be ended by anything but the law. And when the law is changed, 90, 95, 98% of babies who reside in the womb will once again be safe. Offer yourself to God to that end. God bless you.